Hello Casiopians and welcome to Digital Casio. Today we are looking at the 95QS-31, a watch that was released in 1979. From 1976 to 1980, Casio released their watches with a product number that was dictated by the module number. So in this case the 95QS-31 had the 95 module. Now in my years of collecting Casio watches, I've been able to identify 8 models which carry the 95 module. Bearing in mind that there are variations to pretty much all of these, then it's quite an extensive range for the 95s. In the case of this one, the QS-31, there are 2 variations that I'm aware of, and there may even be a third gold variation. If you've ever picked up one of these vintage Casio watches, the first thing that you probably noticed is the build quality. It is exceptional. It has this stainless steel case with a mineral glass crystal. Now if you pick one up and it's in a mint condition, or you're able to restore it to mint condition, then you really get to appreciate the quality of these watches. So on the right hand side you have 2 polished stainless steel pushers, and on the left you have 1 protruding pusher and 1 inset adjust pusher. So the stainless steel continues into the bracelet. It's a chain link flexible bracelet with a trifold clasp that has the Casio logo on the buckle. So these are not the easiest to adjust, but if you want to adjust them, you need to remove the pins from the buckle here and select one of the other holes to make it bigger or smaller. And as you can see, it closes up very securely. I seem to be having a bit of difficulty with this. So now that it's open, you can clearly see the mechanism for the trifold. And as we look into the back of the watch, you can see that the dome stainless steel back actually clips onto a resin piece. And removing one of these backs is actually a fairly straightforward affair of just prying it off with a watch back remover. However, putting it back on is not so straightforward and needs to clip securely into the resin back. This particular watch, when I got it, had the case glued on. The previous owner obviously had difficulty trying to click that into place. So there's the adjust holes that I was talking about earlier. So let's move on to setting the date and time of this watch. For this you'll need some kind of blunt implement that can push the adjust button, because it's inset to a point that you can't actually use your finger. So for this I'll be using a watch band pin remover. So push the adjust button and the seconds will start to flash. And with the seconds flashing, we can press the bottom right to reset them back to 0. If you're past 30 seconds, then the minute advances, otherwise it will just stay where it is. So press bottom left and it selects the hour, and again we use the bottom right to adjust the hours. It has an AM and PM indicator at the bottom left corner. Now we go on to the minutes, and we'll set this for 3:30. Press the bottom left again and we get the year select. So we start off with 1970, but can you guess where the last year is on this watch? Did you guess that it would be 60 years? So we'll set this back to 2020. Unfortunately we do have to press the button individually, but it's not that much of a drawback. So we'll repeat the cycle. We'll press the bottom left and change the month to June, and press it again for the date, and we'll set this to the 15th. And finally we get to select the day of the week, and we'll set this to Wednesday. So that is the final setting, so we'll grab our little tool again and press the adjust button to return back to proper timekeeping mode. So with the time set, let's go ahead and check out the backlight on this. So as you can see, the micro light actually lights up pretty well and illuminates most of the screen, which is pretty decent for a watch of this age. So let's move on, check out the stopwatch or chronograph. So we use the bottom right button to start and stop the stopwatch, and we can use the light button to get a lap time, and lap appears in the middle of the screen at the bottom. Press it again to resume the time, and we press it again to get the lap time, but when we press the stop we can see the two times, 16:07 and 18:94. Press it again to reset. So this watch also comes with dual time. So again, to adjust this, we press the adjust button with our magic tool. So in this mode, you'll notice that the dual time and the hours are flashing, and you are not able to reset the seconds. For obvious reasons, it will actually disrupt your regular timekeeping mode. So we use the bottom right, set it to 9 PM, and we'll set the minutes to 33. Now we get our tool again and press the adjust button to lock that in place. Then press the bottom left again, and that brings us back to timekeeping mode. That pretty much completes the functions of the watch, with the exception of the date, which you press and hold at the bottom right. So let's check this out on my wrist. So the watch fits just fine on my 7-inch wrist. You can see that the band has a really good width to it. The buckle has been adjusted to fit perfectly on my wrist. And the good thing is that, again, this band does not pull on my hairs. And I must say, it actually looks pretty darn stunning. What a beautiful vintage timepiece. So it has a really decent weight of 51 grams, making it a particularly comfortable watch to wear. So I'll give the functionality of this watch a 4, a practicality 7, quality of 9, rarity of 4, and collectability of 8. This gives a total score of 6.4 out of 10. If you're looking for a vintage Casio watch that was built to last, then the 95QS-31 is a must to add to your collection. An online resource states that the watch had a price tag of $40, which, if correct, was a mid-range watch. It doesn't have an alarm, which in 1979 was high-tech, so this made the watch affordable and was one of 8 in the range. Therefore the 95 series is quite a common vintage Casio and can be found for reasonably good prices, in good condition. Even though it doesn't have many features, you would have to part with some serious money to buy a Casio of today with this build quality. With its straightforward layout and that beautiful classic Casio blue on the dial, this is a definite pickup for a collector. Do you own a 95 series Casio? If so, let us know in the comments below and tell us if you agree with my comments. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and click that bell if you'd like to see more retro and vintage Casios. So thanks for watching, I'll leave you with the specs, and until next time, ta-ra!